Thank you, Lily. Good morning, and welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Carissa Moore. I am the treasurer of your Board of Trustees, and here are today's announcements. Today after service, we have the young adult group at noon. This week, there will be no Taco Tuesday. We are paused for the vice presidential debate Tuesday night. Upcoming on Saturday, October 5th, is the Inland Valley Hope Partners Walk for the Hungry and Homeless. The Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation team will meet at 8:45. The walk begins at 9 a.m. at the corner of Mills and First Streets at Claremont College's services. Links to register for the walk, donate to the walk, and to order a yellow Side with Love t-shirt can be found in Thursday's Community Connections. If you do not receive it, please let someone in the office know and they can get your email and get you signed up for that. Now on October 6th, we have an event for a very special person. Paula, would you like to come talk about that?
Good morning. We're going to celebrate the October birthdays next Sunday, and there's a very special birthday that we're including, and that's my mom's 90th. So we're going to be having some wonderful food, some enchiladas and samosas, and yes, there'll be all kinds of cake, including a gluten-free one. We have compostable, biodegradable serviceware that we're going to be using. However, if you would like to bring your potluck kit, please bring that as well. I'm going to have some containers for leftovers, so hopefully when we leave here, all the food is gone. So please come and join us and wish my mom and everybody else a happy birthday next Sunday. Thank you.
Okay. The week after that, October 13th, we'll have the Blessings of the Animals service. And then on October 20th, we have a special congregational meeting. We need a 50% quorum of membership to show up for this meeting, either in person or via Zoom, so that we can pass some bylaws revisions regarding the team's restructuring. So if you can please make time to attend either in person or Zoom on the 20th, we would really appreciate it, because otherwise we got to reschedule this meeting. All right, and now if everyone can stand as they are willing and able, we will sing song number 361 in the Gray Hymnal, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Welcome to the Climate Justice Revival Worship Service. I'm Laura Mulroy, one of your worship leaders this morning. We are so glad we have entered and come into this place of rejoicing. I'd like to give a special welcome to those who have entered and come into our Zoom sanctuary. This morning, we are doing things a little differently. We are joining congregations all over the country for a time of renewal and recommitment at the intersection of the climate crisis and the deep justice commitments of this congregation. Over 370 UU congregations in 45 states, plus Mexico, Canada, the Virgin Islands, and online, that's over 35% of our denomination, are joining in spirit to reimagine together a world where all communities thrive. Throughout religious history, revivals have marked periods of resurgence in people's commitment to their faith traditions. Classic tent revivals brought the community together and served as a galvanizing force for the future, often during times of great change or anxiety. In the midst of overlapping climate crises and mounting social injustice, we are in a time of great change and profound anxiety. Taking a note from those who have gone before us, the Unitarian Universalist Climate Justice Revival is meant to be a time to come together and recommit. Yesterday, congregants gathered in this sanctuary to share their visions of a thriving, ecologically sound, and just community. We navigated through the challenging realities we all face and how to overcome many of them through community care, with love always at the center. Finally, we focused on transformative actions that we can commit to as individuals and as an interconnected Unitarian Universalist community. In celebration of this initial work, we gather today. Taves and Jeanine Little led yesterday's Climate Justice Revival workshop and today join me as worship leaders. I invite them to light our chalice as I share the words of Lisa Garcia Sampsons. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. As we light this chalice, we kindle the spirit of the great turning, the movement for justice alive in this nation today. May we feel it in our bones, and in the stillness of this hour, may we sense it calling our name. Today's Time for All Ages will be read to us by our Unitarian Universalist Association President, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. And after the video, we will sing our younger children to their classes.
As we continue the celebration of our revival together, I am so excited to bring you a story by one of my favorite children's authors, Kobi Yamada. The images are by May Bisum. This story is called, What Do You Do with a Problem? I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was here. It was here. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. I wanted it to go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallowed me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, I really didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was, and I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that, my loves, is the end of our story.
To their class, older children and youth, we invite you to stay with us in the sanctuary today. Climate justice isn't abstract. It starts close to home and impacts people, including all of us and our neighbors. It's not a contest between our commitments to the planet and our commitments to a more just society. In fact, those commitments are one and the same. This congregation is committed to a just world of abundance, care, and love, and that commitment includes funding. Here at Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation, we choose to share 50% of the offerings gathered that are not earmarked as pledges with a charity that aligns with our values and serves our local community. Each charity is pre-selected by our justice team and approved by the board. For the month of September, we share our plate to support the good work of Inland Valley Hope Partners. Each week during the year, we bring offerings of non-perishable food and grooming supplies that are delivered to the Beta Center to serve those in need. During this month, we will enhance our customary gifts to them with added financial support as we share our plate with them as well. In addition, please consider participating in and or supporting the MVUUC team as we walk to raise additional funds for the hungry and unhoused in our community. This annual event is a major fundraiser for the Inland Valley Hope Partners, and it is this coming Saturday, 9 o'clock. And now it is with grateful appreciation for every gift that we have for our shared hopes and values that our generous offerings be given and received.
Fear stifles imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Reimagining together is how we overcome fear. Reimagining together is how we build new relationships and a new era, putting love at the center. Today especially, we put love at the center of our work for climate justice. Please join us in the prayers of the people and planet. Our congregational response is, let us reimagine a new era together.
My turn. Beginning right here in our congregation, we pray for ourselves that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world and community to create a world of flourishing. Let us reimagine a new era together. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We commit to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for land, ecosystems, all species, the entire natural world. We pray for justice for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst, and longest by climate change, and who face systematic oppression. Let us reimagine our new era together.
In our reimagining, we gain the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are the building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival. We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together. Let us imagine a new era together. As we begin in local, committed communities of support, we find the strength and courage to widen our circles of concern, resisting hierarchies of value and ideologies of scarcity. Let us reimagine a new era together.
Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit. Amen. For this special denomination-wide climate justice revival, the UUA planning team commissioned an anthem to celebrate not just today, but to carry forward in years to come, identifying our work for climate justice. The talented musicians, Leah Morris and Adam Pod, have gifted us with a song entitled Part of It. The song calls us to curiosity, humility, creativity, and grace. The work does not fall on one person's shoulders alone. Contributions individuals make are part of the solution. We must ground our solutions in community care with love at the center. Let's reimagine together. Following the anthem, we will watch a video of 2 reflections written especially for this climate revival, and that will be being seen by all the other congregations joining in. And as you listen to the anthem, please feel free to sing along with the chorus.
I'm Rachel Mislivy, your climate justice strategist on the Side with Love team at the UUA. I use she or they pronouns, and I'm a light-skinned white person, femme presenting, with a shoulder length, kind of curly brown hair and gray glasses, and I'm wearing a sort of turquoise linen shirt and some beaded flower hoop earrings. I'm sitting in front of a Zoom background that is red and blue and has flowers all around the edges, and the UU Climate Justice Revival logo up at the top. The love that lies at the center of our faith is a love that expects nothing less of us than the rebuilding of this struggling world. We hold a love greater than we know between and among us, born from all that we hold holy. It takes many of us in community to insist that a better future is possible. As the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt invites us to hold love at the center of our faith, we must equally ask, how do we center love in the climate movement? It starts when we faithfully ground our climate commitments in justice and the reality that climate change has the same roots as the extractive systems of harm and injustice that we fight so hard against. With the same roots and intersecting harms, climate justice is racial justice, is gender justice, disability justice, mental health justice, immigration justice, LGBTQIA+ justice, earth justice, and more. When we provide safe housing for the trans teen, rejected by their parents, living without shelter from climate disasters, when we offer sanctuary for our neighbors forced from their homes by climate disruption, when we open our doors as emergency shelters, when we advocate for labor protections for beloveds working in the extreme heat, when we fiercely defend our ecosystems, our water, our soils, our air, saving them not just for the privileged few, but for all of our beloved communities. When we ground our climate commitments in these challenging realities, love grounds. Love, at the center of our climate strategy, connects. When we realize that, even as the root causes are inextricably linked, so too must be our solutions. When we refuse to overlook climate injustice, when we shift from me and mine to we and ours, when we understand our interdependence, when we know in our bodies that the work is more than just technical solutions for those who can afford solar or electric cars. When we fight for clean energy, clean water, clean air as human rights, as nature rights, as earth rights, love connects. Love at the center of our climate resilience builds. When we overwhelm those challenging realities with community care. As Toni Morrison says, it's not possible to constantly hold on to the crisis. You have to have the love. You have to have the magic. That's also life. When we bring joy to our movement spaces and share snacks at our meetings as we knit socks and crack jokes, when we bounce babies on our knees as we strategize, when we laugh and play, when we draw on our faith, our inner strength, our hopes, our dreams, our creativity, our magic, when we creatively and joyfully elevate all of the many ways that we can create new worlds together, love builds. Love at the center of our climate action transforms when we realize we need a new way. When we balance what my community needs with what brings me joy. When we experiment with new ways of being, thinking, relating, and acting together. When we admit that I alone do not have the answer. When we reject those extractive systems of harm, when we reimagine our relationships, our communities, the world we want together, love transforms. Love at the center of our climate partnerships nourishes when we overwhelm those challenging realities with collective care, when we recognize and honor the places where our deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet, when we listen, when we faithfully respond, when we embrace imperfection and offer grace, when we listen with curiosity and intention, when we communicate with humility and care, when we offer joy in the struggle, love nourishes. Love at the center of our climate movements reimagines when we dream about what could be. And when we commit to make it so, when we clasp hands and say, yes, we can do this, even when we may not yet know the way, when we guide our shared work with hope for the future and commitment to collective liberation, when we save what we love, when we joyfully, faithfully, imperfectly, and beautifully recreate our world so that all communities thrive. When love is at the center of our climate movements, love grounds, love connects, love builds, love transforms, love nourishes, love reimagines. Let's reimagine together, friends, a world where all communities thrive.
Love is at the center. Every justice necessitates climate justice, and climate justice necessitates every justice. These are new stories that we're telling. These are new stories that we're telling. We are learning to tell ourselves a new story about our wholeness. We are learning to imagine ourselves into a different relationship with the earth. We are learning to imagine ourselves into a different relationship with the earth and how we live with them. We need these stories urgently because we need a complete transformation of how we live on this planet, how we understand ourselves in relationship to our earth, and what we are called to be and to do as a result. In other words, we need to imagine our way into different stories, and then we need to live them. This is exactly the move that theologian Sally McFague makes when she argues that the earth is the body of God. McFague was writing in the 1980s. Some of us were alive then. Some of us weren't, and if you weren't alive then, I'm going to try, and probably fail, to describe just a little bit of what it was like. By the mid-'80s, Earth Day was a known quantity in much of liberal America. Tensions over the oil crisis had everyone thinking about ways to be more energy efficient and more energy independent. Environmentalists saw a glimmer of hope, and they and we also saw many gathering clouds of war and global destruction in the form of a nuclear weapons race. At 48 years old, I think I was one of the last to have regular nuclear war drills in school. And even that was elementary school. They were an artifact of the past by my middle school years. But the specter of nuclear annihilation was very real, it was very present, and the sense of living within a period of existential threat was palpable. Not to put too fine a point on it, but McFague was writing into the teeth of apocalypse. She was doing theology on the cusp of existential annihilation. In other words, not too different from the theology that we are doing today with the presence of the earth and its suffering in our hearts and in our minds. Her method, which she called metaphorical theology, asked us to move into a place of imagination with her question, how would we think or act differently if this were true? She knew that she was working against entrenched notions of God just as we are today. And instead of arguing and trying to knock an idol off its base, she said, keep your idol, keep those ideas. Just ask this question with me. How would you think or act differently if this were true? And then she said, what if the earth was the body of God? I get shivers when I ask that question. And if you're struggling with this, let me remind you of two things. First, that some theologians have defined God as that which is greater than us, that which we are wholly reliant upon, and that which we cannot live without. Which is to say that nature, which is to say that our earth does a very good job of fitting that definition and criteria. Second, many have said that if I look at my checkbook, I will know what I believe in. If I look at my credit card statement, it will tell me what I believe in. If we were to look at our checkbooks, if we were to look at our credit card statements, what would they say we believe in? If we are going to have a God today, if we are going to put any logic up above us and follow its call, if we are going to open our hearts in surrender to anything, and particularly knowing that what we believe shapes what we act and how we act shapes what we believe, thinking and acting as if the earth was the body of God would be an awfully good model to live within and to live with. Hang out in that space of imagination with me for a few moments, will you? Can we imagine how different things would be if we behaved and acted as if we believed that the earth that we walk on, the earth that provides everything that we have, is the body of our Creator? The funny thing, of course, is that we need not imagine at all. It is literally true that we are wholly reliant upon the earth, that the forces of nature are far greater than we can ever be and beyond our understanding and imagination, and that we literally cannot live without it. Western intellect has made the fundamental category error of believing that we are separate from that which we are inseparably apart. The earth is God, and we are intimately part of God's body. What would we do? What would we not do? How would we move through a world where everything is holy, where everything is sacred, where everything is a story of gratitude and interdependence? How would we live if we understood that we come here not to make this the site of our efforts, but rather a place to fill our spirits, a place for collective care, a place for healing? One that kindles and replenishes our imagination, one that helps us to recenter in an imagination of what we could be, so that we can go out and live it, and in the process of living it, make the world as it could be.
How do
We meant to stop it there. So now we're going to perform a ritual. Rituals facilitate connection and a sense of community, and they help us to promote the values that we share. So the ritual for action that we're now going to do is intended to help us embody what we've been talking, thinking, and singing about. So you notice on the sides of the room, on the windows, there's those blue pieces of paper. So we invite each of you to go over to one of those and trace your handprint on the piece of paper. And there's markers and colored pencils there for you to do that. You can put your name in it if you want to, that's up to you. And after, we're gonna have a meditation as we do it, and after we're all done putting our hands up, then our hands are going to be blessed for the work of climate justice. Oh, so Laura and I are going to demonstrate this difficult task for you.
And just a reminder, markers do leave a mark. So It is water-based, though. Yes. So don't be shy. Go ahead and come on over. As you draw, imagine yourself in our community. Picture yourself as healthy, strong, and vibrant and able. Focus on the work you know must be done in order for this community to thrive as an ecologically sound and just entity. See yourself engaged in this work, not alone, but surrounded by companions and allies who share similar goals. Imagine the positive results of your collective labor. How does your community look? How does your community feel? For virtual participants, if you want to put your hand on the screen and trace it with your finger, my fellow worship leaders will add a hand for you onto the paper. If you're so willing, join me in a short meditation. Sit with your feet firmly on the floor. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. And let's take 3 slow, deep breaths together. With each inhale, feel the nutrients deep in the earth flowing up through your feet. through your calves, through your thighs, into your torso. Allow those nutrients to settle into your chest, your solar plexus. Now focus on the energy from the sun, our closest star. And with each additional breath, pull down this energy into your body, through the top of your head, down your neck and shoulders, and into your chest. Let it meet Earth's nutrients in the center of your being. Hold this energy and these nutrients for a moment or two, enjoying the support and strength they give your body and mind. Now, send this energy out toward your hands, down through your arms. Feel your fingers tingle with its force. Appreciate what these hands can do and will do in the real world. Remember, the sources of grounding and energy are always available to you. Use them often. Finally, in your mind's eye, imagine extending your energized hands out to the hands of those around you. See the beautiful electrifying sparks that arc between and among them. Know the work ahead of us will be much easier and lighter when the load is shared among these capable hands. Delight in this. And breathe. Let this scene begin to fade. And breathe. Feel yourself present in your own body, in your chair, in this sanctuary, with these loving people. Slowly lift your gaze or open your eyes. And one more deep breath together. As you are willing and able, lift your hands out in front of you. Friends, you are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless your hands with love. May they do the work that must be done, care for those who need the touch of kindness, and create flourishing everywhere. May it be so.
And next, if you would please rise as you're willing and able, we're going to sing Blue Boat Home. Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship is broken, let us be vigilant in faith, keep peace in our hearts, and make care for one another the watchword of our lives together, so our light goes out everywhere into the world. As Anne and Jeanine extinguish our chalice, please join me. Or, here we go. Please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words. Our light goes out everywhere healing and hope are needed. Let us go in peace to serve this world and one another. Please remain seated for our postlude, and then I invite everyone to stay after the service for fellowship and refreshments.